That's classic. We bring you great laughs and a unique behind-the-scenes look at classic television shows and movies. I'm John Cato. I am an actor, voiceover artist, and also bring you an amazing insight as a moderator with over 20 years experience in the television industry. Okay, we are live today, and today, as always, I have to say I'm always excited to talk with my friend Bob Bergen, and I always like to introduce him as animation extraordinaire.
And wait, are we live?
Well, no.
Oh, okay.
Well, we are on the recording.
Yeah. You scared me. Yeah. Also, we're you and I are just shooting the shit a second ago, and also, oh, we're live today. I'm like, well, you didn't tell me that. I just
mean we're recording.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. You push buttons.
Yes, that is correct.
All right.
Today we're both going to be talking about a show that we both grew up with and love. I Dream of Jeannie. So what can I say? I think we got to start off, Bob, right out of the gates. Why don't you tell your story about the I Dream of Jeannie bottle? Because I think we left off in one of our last podcasts about that.
You don't want to start with the house? I mean, it usually
the house. Actually, what for real? Is there a house?
Yes.
No, I did not know that. Actually, let's start with that. And we'll go on to the bottle. What about the house?
The house is at the Warner Ranch, which used to be the Columbia Ranch on Hollywood Way, right down the street from Warner Brothers. It was the Columbia Ranch. The I Dream of Jeannie house was Mr. Wilson's house in the Dennis the Menace series.
Oh my gosh, I never knew this.
Yeah, and it's right down the street from the Bewitched house. And when I would do Looney Tunes, which with their recording studio is right down the street from that street, I would get there early and roam the street, and I would see the Dennis the Menace house and the Bewitched house and the I Dream of Jeannie house, which looks totally different now because it's basically just dressed for whatever they last used it for. But it's also right next to I think the Dennis the Menace house, I'm pretty sure your fans, all 500 of them, will write and correct me, but I'm pretty sure the Dennis the Menace house, which is right next to the I Dream of Jeannie house, was the house that was used in the first Lethal Weapon movie where Danny Glover was sitting on the John and the bomb exploded.
Oh my God, that's a cool piece of trivia. Now I'm gonna have to research that.
But yeah, I mean, this is audio, not video. But I used to take tons of pictures when I would roam the lot when I was doing Looney Tunes, and I'd go in and out of those houses and so. But it's just a shell. It's just a facade. It's not real, but it is still there.
I honestly, I never knew that about the house. My brain was thinking of it, but I thought of it more of like maybe interstitials as they break to another scene or something like that.
Well, we're going to go to a later season, but because we have to start like Jeannie proper, but Dr. Bellows lived in the Bewitched house, and they even used the interior set for his house. I don't know why they did that.
Wow.
But it was obviously the exterior, obviously the interior.
Okay, now that is pretty wild.
Yeah.
It really is. That was Dr. Bellows' house. And it really was only, in theory, it was only 2 down from the I Dream of Jeannie house.
Pretty close. Maybe a little bit more than 2, but right around the corner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about the bottle. Come on, it's always about the bottle.
All right.
It's a good story. I like it.
All right, so I'm at a fan convention, and this guy comes up to me and he says, "I've got this booth of memorabilia from movies and TV shows," and it was, by the way, one of my first conventions.
Yeah.
And I was a volunteer big brother. I had my little brother there with me. And the guy says, we usually share, go from booth to booth and say, I'll give you something of mine, you give me something of yours.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay, well, what do you want? He goes, well, can I have like 25 autographed pictures? And my little brother, who I think was about 7 or 8, goes, that's excessive, dude. And I said, no, that's okay. I don't care, whatever. And he goes, you can come to my booth and get anything you want.
Oh my gosh.
I said, okay. So I go to his booth. He had like a finger from a Planet of the Apes movie, like a monkey finger.
Oh my God. And by the way, I would have loved that. But anyway,
it was kind of cool, but it just looked like an ape finger. I mean, that's all. It's just a rubber ape finger.
Yeah.
And he had lots of clothes, and then he had this smoky I Dream of Jeannie looking bottle.
Wow.
And I said, "Oh, I'll take that." And he goes, "Oh, you want the bottle?" And I said, "Is that a problem?" He goes, "Well, there were like 3 things I was going to take down before you came over here. I took down 2 of them. I forgot what the third one was, and I guess that's it." But
Oh my gosh.
I said, "Well, no, you can keep it." He goes, "No, you can have it." Now, most fans of the show know that the bottle was a Jim Beam whiskey bottle.
Decanter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right.
that was their holiday bottle that they used for booze. They had
Right.
1 year it had a handle, same bottle, but it had a handle. And for that year, it was just the that bottle. And so I mean, and Screen Gems would buy dozens of them and paint them and use them for the show. And it looked the bottle was painted differently for the first season than from the second season on. It was
Interesting. Now
kind of,
that I didn't know. That I didn't know.
yeah, if you look at the first season, it's a totally different looking bottle. It was black well, it was a black and white show, but it was black with some gold leafing. And then season 2, when it went to color, they made it purple
Mhm.
because it's color show. So why not make it a little bit more vibrant? So
Yeah. In fact, I had read, by the way, just so you know, that Barbara Eden actually had, well, I'm going to say one of the original bottles based
right.
on your story, but she actually finally donated that one to the Smithsonian. And it
Did
was,
she really?
yeah, she
Did
did.
she
She
really?
finally did donate it. Yeah. And I think
Yeah,
it's the
from what I
purple color.
understand, a lot of them got broken in the Northridge earthquake. I think Larry Hagman's got broken, and I think Bill Daly had one that got broken, and it was
Wow.
just, yeah. So I had my little smoke bottle, and I don't even know the guy's name,
Yeah.
but I get an email from this guy. Uh, can I send him a Porky Pig happy birthday for his granddaughter? And I was like, yeah, sure. Okay, why not?
Right.
And
Out of
what's
nowhere,
that?
this just comes in, but you
What?
must get
Yeah,
them all the time. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do. I do. I
Yeah.
get them all the time. Yeah. And this is even before like social media. So he just found me somehow.
Right.
And we were doing an email back and forth conversation. What do you do? He goes, "Oh, I'm retired, but I used to work in television." "What did you do?" We go, "Oh, I was an art director." "Anything I'd know?" "Oh yeah, I worked for Columbia and Screen Gems." "Well, what would I know?" "Well, I was instrumental in designing the look of the I Dream of Jeannie bottle."
Oh, come on. I mean, seriously, what are the chances of that? I mean,
I said,
really?
"Get out of here."
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, I have a Jim Beam bottle. Would you paint it for me?"
Wow.
And he said, "I haven't done one of those since the show." And I said, "Okay, well, don't worry about it." He goes, "No, you know what? I think you just look, I'm old. Send it to me. But just be patient." Cato,
Yeah.
years later,
Oh my God.
because I thought my bottle was lost forever. It
Yeah.
was just gone. I just sent it away, and years later, I got it back with a pop. "Sorry about the delay, blah blah blah," and he signed it, and it was numbered on the back, on the bottom. Um, and so um, I'm auditioning for a voiceover thing one day, and I get an audition, and I'm reading with Barbara Eden.
Oh my gosh, Bob, you're killing me
And
right now.
I told her
Come
about
on.
the guy. I told her the name, and she goes, "Oh no, he did work on the show."
Oh my
Yep.
God.
So what I had was never used on the show, but it was a Jim Beam bottle that was hand painted by the guy that was hands on with the original series.
Wow. What was her reaction, by the way? Did you tell her this whole story about the fact that you had how you got it and
Yeah, she was not terribly impressed. She kind of. In fact, I met her again when I was hosting JEP. Sony had a big party for all the shows on the air that year on the back lot, and I saw her there, and she was talking to Chuck Woolery. And I went up to Chuck Woolery and I said, "Hey, I have a Rolex that I won on Wheel of Fortune on Teen Week when you were hosting Wheel of Fortune." "Oh, and hi, Barbara Eden. I've got that bottle." And neither one gave a damn.
Yeah,
And
Chuck's like, "Hey kid, I'm talking to Barbara Eden.
I know, right?
Hey, the thing that I was gonna say, by the way, Barbara Eden, when she was there, I wonder if that's when she was filming the reunion. And was it, well, I shouldn't say
No,
reunion. Was that
no.
movie?
The reunion was in the 70s.
Was it? I'm thinking of the one with Wayne Rogers
Oh,
as Tony. Yeah.
oh.
Well, it was
I have a problem when they do a reunion show and they change the format.
yeah,
It's sort of like if it's a 4-camera sitcom and the reunion show is a single camera, like a movie.
right.
And this one was a 2-hour movie.
Yep.
Larry Hagman was doing Dallas. He couldn't come back for it. Wayne Rogers. You know what? I see. I like a laugh track. I call me crazy, but
Yeah.
I missed the laugh track.
Yeah, I found it kind of boring. And I'm a big I Dream of Jeannie fan, but I agree with you. I mean, Wayne Rogers did his best, but it just wasn't the same. But I was thinking it was right around that time, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was earlier than that.
No, it was
Yeah.
because Jeff was in the 90s, and that was, well, hang on. I have this machine right here. Keep
Yeah.
talking.
I think it was 80s. My brain is thinking more
Was it
like
called I Dream of
85.
Jeannie 15
Yeah.
years later?
Yeah, because I think it's I personally I think it's 85. That's my thought.
Is that your guess?
Yeah, what's yours?
85?
Yeah.
Did you look it up?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I'm just thinking back to that time.
October 20th, 1985.
Okay, come on.
Very good.
Come on.
Cato gets points. Oh, you know what was in the 70s was the Gilligan reunion.
Oh, yeah. Right. That's right. Yeah.
But she looked I'm looking at pictures. She looked damn good.
I was just going to say, Barbara Eden really took care of herself. I mean, she looked terrific.
She still looks good. I mean, you can tell that was she close to 90 now?
Right. She is. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But, I've seen her at a few events, and she is, I don't know what if she's had work recently, it's good. She looks, she's sharp. She's sexy. She's very elegant.
She is.
Yeah, she's got good genes.
I think part of the appeal of I Dream of Jeannie was, I mean, Barbara Eden is a beautiful woman, but at the same time, there is such a kindness about her, such a warmth about her that it's like, you could say that there's obviously a sexual part to I Dream of Jeannie, but it's in such a like all-American, nice, girl, woman, way. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, this nice all-American girl and this astronaut who keeps her caged up in a bottle. I mean, let's be really honest, okay? In the land of Me Too, this show would not happen today.
It would not happen. She liked what was it? She said that I know what it was. She said in the second season when they actually get married, she felt that ruined the show.
It wasn't the second season, it was the last season.
Was it the last season? I thought it was the second season they got married.
No. Second season was the first season it was in color. It was the very last season that they mixed her off.
Yeah. She just felt that once they got married, it killed what the show was about, which honestly, part of it was the sexual tension between Tony and her, and she felt that was kind of like put the nail in the coffin on the show.
I agree with her 100%. It changed. There was no, everybody knew who she was. They didn't know that she was a genie, but everybody knew her. She didn't have to hide.
Right.
I didn't like when they remodeled his house. I don't like change, John.
No,
okay?
I know.
I didn't mind when the show first started. Roger didn't even know she existed.
Oh, I didn't. I knew that he didn't know that she was a genie, but he actually didn't even know she existed.
No. I think he discovered she was a genie at the end of the first season. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if it was the first season or the second season where they went from from Captain Nelson to Major Nelson. And I don't know why that made a difference.
Yeah, I know.
Why change? What does that do? And Dr. Bellows, he was a psychiatrist.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
A NASA psychiatrist.
And he was a Colonel Bellows. And he was nuts. So I don't quite understand does NASA have a psychiatrist on staff like that?
I know that they took it serious enough that NASA actually had the cast out to Cape Canaveral or whatever it was, and they actually met with Buzz Aldrin.
That's cool.
At a dinner. Yeah. And she apparently got to stand up and tell some special story at the time. I don't know about
that's cool.
Show. Yeah.
Well, the first season, she didn't blink. She batted her eyes.
Right. Yes, I do remember that.
And she talked thee and thou.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Where's thou going? And then like halfway through the first season, they were, and by the way, you know that she was pregnant in the first season, and
yeah.
her veils just kept getting a little bit more covery.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And well, a good little one on that too is the husband was Michael Ansara, and he
Who played the blue djinn.
Blue djinn. Right? Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like the blue djinn. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's supposedly the guy that sent her into the bottle in the first place.
That's right.
Yeah. Because he made her a genie because I think now I could be wrong on this, but I thought it was because she wouldn't marry him in the show.
I don't know. I mean, I think she was already a genie, but I think that he banished her to the bottle.
Well, yeah, there's some kind of weird deal on that they changed the story. I think one of the things I read, he made her a genie as a punishment and put her in the bottle. Then another one I read that she was already a genie and that her family, which is what comes up in the show, that her family was a family of many genies.
There you go.
Yeah, but they never really confirmed what that was.
And then they had to do that whole, hey, what came first? Jeannie's evil sister or Samantha's wacky cousin?
Okay, that's a
you know what I'm talking about? Because
yeah, I do know. I know exactly.
The polar opposite. Both screen gems.
Yeah.
Both produced by the same studio, houses down the street from each other. Not real original, whoever decided to copy it. I don't know who did.
They might have shared writers. They might have shared writers.
No, I don't think they shared writers.
Well, somebody stole it from the other one. There's no doubt.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. So Jeannie was NBC. I think Bewitched was ABC. And Bewitched was longer. Bewitched outlasted Jeannie by many years, I think. Not that many. I think Jeannie went off in the 70?
Yeah, that's probably right in there. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Bewitched started first, so Bewitched probably started with Serena and then somebody.
It probably was that. The other thing that's funny about that, which I'm sorry, I have a real hard time with this one. Jeannie's evil sister was also played by Barbara Eden.
And her name was?
Oh, it's so funny you said that because I couldn't think of it right now.
Her name was Jeannie.
Her evil sisters was Jeannie.
They were all named Jeannie.
Okay, that is funny. Because I was just thinking of that Wayne Rogers remake, and I was like, didn't they say the name of the evil sister? But I can't remember. But the thing that's really funny about the evil sister, though,
is that
a lot of fans, they said a lot of fans did not realize that Barbara Eden played both parts.
Really?
Yeah, I swear. They said that a lot of fans during the run of the show were quite surprised to find out, that it was in essence, Barbara Eden. I'm like, how do you not look at that?
That one was pretty easy to tell.
Yeah, I mean, I think one has dark hair and one has blonde hair.
Exactly. Well, it's the same with Bewitched. That's what they did with Bewitched. But I thought that Elizabeth Montgomery really changed the character a lot more than Barbara Eden.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, Barbara Eden, she just made her a little sassier and she tried to.
And I'm looking at Wikipedia. Her sister's name was Jeannie 2.
Oh, Jeannie 2. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Which basically means it was Jeannie.
That's right. That's right.
It was all the way. By the way, I liked, you mentioned Roger, the character of Roger. I liked Bill Daly a lot. I thought he was very underrated. On the show.
He was great, but he played the same character in everything. So, because if it's I Dream of Jeannie, it's like, oh, hey, Tony. And if it's Bob Newhart, oh, hey, Bob. I mean, it's the same likable, oh, live next door. Oh, I work with this guy. But he's a comedic genius. He was so good at comedy.
I agree. He could really play off the straight man, so to speak. Yeah. He was also, wasn't he like the father or something like that in Elf?
Oh, was he?
Yeah, I think he was the father in Elf.
Oh, all right.
Looking back, one of them. Yeah, that's a weird one,
Yeah, well, that's kind of out of there, but who knew?
Yeah,
I have not seen Elf. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's well, no, you'll have to tell that to Elf. But anyway,
there you go.
The other one that I enjoyed was her costumes, which obviously the genie costume is kind of sexy, whatever, however you want to look at it. two things. Barbara Eden, in an interview, said that for her, she did not feel that way, that it was a uniform and that was part of her character. And she didn't feel it
Well,
was
she never played it sexy. She just happened to be, which I guess
right.
was in itself sexy because it was confident.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Exactly. And a couple things, they wouldn't let her show her belly button at
Right.
the time. That's a big,
Right.
yeah. And the costumes themselves, they actually, like to find one now, it's actually very difficult because one, they had to constantly be making them because she was ripping them.
Oh,
She moves around a lot. She's in the bottle and she's jumping around a lot.
right.
There's a lot of
Right.
movement and the fabric would tear. So they were constantly having to replace these. And I love this part. Another reason they were replacing them is the producers' wives were taking them for Halloween costumes.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
I mean, God, come on.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. I wonder if they
Yeah.
still have those.
Well, I don't know. I wonder too. They did say I guess I'd seen something. One of the prop guys said that they just never returned them. They never brought them back. But it kind of goes with the bottles. I bet you there's only so many costumes out there.
Wow. Well, one of the last times I think she wore that costume was the Brady Bunch movie sequel. At the very end, she pops up as Jeannie, I think as Mike's ex-wife or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Like for
Really?
at the very end before the end credits, and she looked damn good.
Oh, wow. When we get done with this podcast, I'm going to go on YouTube and try and find that moment. I didn't know that.
There
That's
you
a
go.
little Brady Bunch tie-in. Jesus. When by the way, another fun one was when the show did cancel, which I think it was
Yeah.
after 5 years. I don't know. I can't recall the exact amount.
I think it was probably about 5 years period.
Well, one of my favorite stories is Larry Hagman goes off. I want to say he was in like South America or something like that on vacation. He comes back to the studio. he goes he goes to go to his dressing room to go pick up a few items, and
Yeah.
the guard at the studio actually tells him that the show's been canceled and that it's not his dressing room anymore. That's
Oh my
what
God.
he
I
finds out.
hear that story from so many actors who
That's
might have been on a show for 5, 6 years and they go to clean out their dressing room and they're like, I'm sorry, do you have a pass? You
yeah.
know? Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
you're
a
not known anymore, you know? I mean,
okay, 1965 to 1970.
okay, so 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years.
And Bewitched was 64 to 72.
And you were saying, what was that about the residuals? Would they, in this case, then they would not be getting residuals? Is that
Well, the residual formula as we know it didn't start until the early 70s. So they might have had a deal where they got, a few residuals, but certainly not more than 2 or 3 runs, if
oh
if
my
if
God.
that. And I can guarantee, unless they were, this is one of the reasons why you would see later seasons of a TV show, one of the actors would be listed as also now a producer,
Mhm.
was to get a piece of the profits when it goes into syndication, but they only got profits on the seasons that they were producing.
Oh, wow.
So, but you don't see Larry Hagman, you don't see Barbara Eden, and let's talk about Larry Hagman,
Yeah,
who was
let's
a
talk about Larry.
who was addicted to LSD while they were doing I Dream of Jeannie.
Oh, no, I didn't know about that. I knew he was a huge drinker. I knew that I
Oh
knew
well,
that was
he
part
was
of
he
his.
was a big drinker, and he didn't really start drinking heavily until the Dallas years, I think. But yeah, he was into drugs. I think that he had to go into rehab
Oh,
during
wow.
I Dream of Jeannie.
Well, I'm gonna help you out on that one. By the way, on his drinking, no, he was
Was
on.
he?
Yeah, he actually his big deal. He would start off the day with champagne and kind of work that through the day, and then possibly that's what if he was taking LSD or something. But yeah, they said that his kind of calm personality in the show was really that was part of his calm personality was he was drinking.
Oh, well, there you go. All right.
Problem with that is at the end of the day of shooting, I guess he could be quite difficult. Uh,
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, and then, the thing is, it made him a star,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Genie goes off the air in 1970. Dallas starts, I guess, I think they shot the 2-hour movie in 76 or 77. So it wasn't that long after I Dream of Jeannie that he got Dallas.
Wow.
But what did he do between? Can you think of anything that Larry Hagman film? I know he was in the Superman movie, but that was like about the same time as Dallas.
Yeah, I can't. It's kind of like he just fell off the face of the earth. Who's his I should know this, and I admit I don't. He has is it a famous mother, or is it
Oh yeah, Mary Martin was his mom.
Mary
Do
Martin,
you know
right?
who
Who was
Mary Martin was?
Peter Pan, right?
Exactly, yeah, and she originated the part of Maria in Sound of Music in the Broadway version, and oh, she was a huge Broadway star.
Right, right. I knew that because I had read something about him that for him getting the I Dream of Jeannie and becoming known, that's what he
Yeah,
always wanted. Like he always wanted to have the acclaim that his mom had, you know.
and I understand he used to live in Malibu, and he wouldn't talk on Sundays. He had a rule that he wouldn't talk on Sundays.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. I guess everybody gets their own thing. Yeah.
I mean, God forbid the house is on fire, and you've got to like alert somebody. But if your rule's your
Don't
rule,
talk
you
to
let
me.
the house burn.
Do not talk to me.
That's right.
Um, hey, by the way, when you were mentioning Malibu, they actually they didn't shoot the pilot in Malibu, but they did shoot the pilot out in Zuma for I Dream of Jeannie.
You're talking about the scene where he finds the bottle.
That's correct.
And I
Yeah.
think they went back to the exact same spot for the reunion movie.
Oh, really? Was
Uh-huh.
that's where
Because
it is?
they did a with Wayne Rogers reenacting
Yeah,
that
I
moment.
remember it.
And I think they went to the exact same spot in Zuma.
Okay, that's pretty wild. I know that
Yeah.
they also made it like an island. They added that
Oh
like
yeah.
thing.
Oh
But
yeah.
the one thing that I thought was funny about when they shot it, it was apparently really cold.
Oh,
And
is that right?
yeah, and she was in these outfits, and they said it was freezing. Like, here they're acting like it's an island and everything like that, but apparently it was just really cold. And but yet when they interviewed Barbara Eden years later, she said that's her favorite episode. Is that episode. Even though it was cold, even though it was freezing, it was really
Mhm.
unbearable. She loves that particular episode. She thinks is the best one.
Just establishing the whole story. She just thought that was the best episode.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Apparently
interesting. I
magic.
I will tell you, as a person who works in cartoons, as a kid, I always loved the animated opening.
Me too. Me too. Yeah.
And one year, because just to let your listeners know, I am of the Jewish faith.
Oh, no way.
Yes, oy
What?
vey, oy
Bob,
vey,
you
no,
never told me that. Oh my
I
God.
know. And one year we're sitting in temple,
Yeah.
and you bring your own little prayer book, okay?
Yeah.
And my mom is turning the pages in the book. And on the top of one page is a little bitty genie bottle. And on the next page, the genie bottle's a little bit lower. And then the next page, a
Oh.
little bit lower. And my mom says, "What is this?" I said, "Oh, I was bored last year. If you flip that, it's the genie bottle falling down on the beach, on Cocoa Beach." And she
Oh my.
flips it and she goes, "You can't do that." I said, "I already did it. And I did it last year. So don't worry about it."
Well, that's a good way to spend your time. I like it. I like it.
I got more out of making a flip cartoon book out of that bottle than I ever did in synagogue. Forgive me.
Yeah,
For
yeah. It's funny too because as you're describing that, I don't know the exact theme song, but I literally can hear dun 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 dun.
which is season 2 and forward, because the first season, da 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 da, and Sidney Sheldon, who created the show, said he hated that theme song from the very beginning and
Yeah.
was thrilled when they redid it.
Oh, that's so funny. Now I got to go back and listen to the first couple of shows. Because that's like iconic. I mean, that
Oh
song
yeah.
sits in
And
your head.
and then all TV shows, we talked about this with the Brady's, they had the transition music from scene to scene that was kind of like da 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 da
Right.
da da. So Jeannie had the same thing. Dun 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 dun, which was variations of the theme.
Yeah.
But the last year they did a laugh-in tie-in. I don't know if you remember that, but they had George Slaughter and Judy Carn, and they had a laugh-in tie-in. And they decided to go for a more psychedelic sound for their bumper and mood music, and it just got this wacky kind of psychedelic druggy sort of sound to it.
Jesus, because we're getting closer to the 70s.
We were in the 70s.
We were in the
Yeah,
70s.
we were in late 60s, early 70s, and yeah, it went from black and white, kind of wholesome, to hey, far out genie, cool,
Right. Right. The thing about Barbara Eden, I don't know. I've never picked this up in any interview or anything that I've read about her, is she is, you could say that she's been stereotyped as Jeannie. I mean, not that she hasn't done other parts, but really, if I say to you, how many other things have you seen her in? I probably have seen her in a lot of other programs,
Yeah.
but I really truthfully only see her as Jeannie in my head.
So I remember she did a really cool movie of the week where she played this housewife who was pregnant, and she would eat salt and touch books. And she was basically, salt was keeping her alive.
Oh, wow.
And touching the book, she was educating her child by touching books and records. And you find out at the end, she was actually an alien mother. And when she had the baby, she goes up in a spaceship back to her planet. Now, some of your listeners are going to remember this and know it. It was great. I mean, when I was a kid, I just remember seeing her sitting there having lunch with I think Joyce Van Patten was the other actress, and she's just salting everything, like salting, and then she lived on coffee. She would get a can of coffee grinds and pour some water in from the faucet and just drink it, because the baby lived on coffee and salt. It was the most bizarre show. Movie? A TV movie, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, when you post this, ask people to just, what was that movie? And
yeah.
Go, oh yeah, I totally remember
throw it out there right now. Does anybody know that movie? If you do,
but going back to what you're saying, like, what else has she done? I remember she did Harper Valley for Universal.
Oh, Harper Valley PTA.
Yeah,
that's right.
Produced by.
That I don't. Wait, don't tell me it's Gary Marshall.
Nope.
Who?
You're close. Lloyd and Sherwood Schwartz.
Ah, yeah, yep. It's right around.
And we had a rule. When I was a tour guide at Universal, we had a list of people we could not point out for different reasons.
Oh, geez.
She was one of them. And the reason was that one day she was going for a run on the back lot at Universal, and she didn't have any makeup on. And a tour guide saw her and pointed her out, and she was mortified.
Oh, my God.
So they sent out a memo.
He needs to be mortified, please.
Well, add to the list of people we weren't allowed to point out on the back lot, and she was added to the list.
Wow, that's wild. I mean, just a beautiful woman. That's just crazy.
But you also want to think, lady, you're on Universal. They do tours.
Right, exactly.
Unless it's your first day and you don't know what time they start, chances are, if you're going to go for a morning run, put on your makeup. A tram's going to go by.
I mean, people are everywhere. Yeah,
that's right.
Without a doubt. I got a good one. By the way, a good Larry Hagman. He apparently the Flying Nun with Sally Field was being filmed on the set right next.
That's right.
Yeah. And so, it was about a nun, obviously. And so there were 10 nuns visiting, and somebody happened to come.
Real nuns visiting or extras?
Real nuns.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
Visiting the Flying Nun set. And somebody had this great idea. Hey, since you guys are here, why don't we go over to the I Dream of Jeannie set? And we'll show you that as well. So Larry Hagman had a real hard time with people visiting the set or any of that. And then he sees that it's nuns, and he was a real practical joker, I guess, too. He took this one a little too far for the nuns, but apparently he grabbed, I want to say it was an axe. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was an axe. And he started, he came on the side, he started wielding this thing over his head and just swearing at the top of his lungs. And I guess that the nuns left immediately. And
no kidding, right?
Yeah, no, who knows if Larry was on a binge at the time or what. But if you could picture these nuns walking over from the Flying Nun set, and suddenly they're over there, and it's like, hey, Larry, yeah, he's wielding the axe. Jeez.
Yeah, well, but so the nuns leave the crazy guy from I Dream of Jeannie to go back to Gidget in a nun costume flying.
Exactly. And
it's not a great day for nuns that day.
No, that was not a good day. No. When they didn't realize that they were going from the Flying Nun to the Flying Axe. They didn't.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. That
Yeah.
is so freaking
But
funny.
my guess is he was on a bit of a binge then. That's for sure.
Yeah, obviously, but having a bad day, or maybe just, scared of nuns. Who knows?
It could be. It could be. Yeah. Well, listen, I think we should wrap her up on our I Dream of Jeannie discussion, but I'd like
Oh,
to.
by the way, we got to touch up for a moment on the really bad Hanna-Barbera cartoon Genie.
Oh, I'd be happy to.
Just for a second.
Sure.
I have only one question.
And that question is
why? Why call it Genie? Why not have Barbara Eden? Why not have Larry? You know who was the voice of the guy?
Who?
It was Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill?
Mark Hamill played, what's his name? Corey? Yeah, he was a surfer dude who finds a bottle. I don't know why they did it. It was terrible.
Oh, that is terrible. I mean, they could have easily had just used, like you said, the original cast and we were good.
Just do the series as is, animated, if you're going to do it. And Hanna-Barbera, by the way, animated the opening.
It's so funny. I was just going to ask you if that, which is really weird then that they wouldn't use the original cast after they
right. Hanna-Barbera animated the opening of Genie and Bewitched.
How long did it last? Just like one season?
I don't know, probably 1 or 2 seasons. It was just not so good.
I don't have much of a memory of it. I'm vaguely, when you mentioned the surfer, the Corey thing, I was like, maybe I do kind of.
And if anybody listening is interested, Google Radio Shack smoking Genie bottle, like 1970. My grandmother got me one. I don't have it anymore, but Radio Shack sold these. There was a green plastic Genie bottle.
Wow.
And you would ask it a question, take off the top, smoke would come out.
Oh,
and when you put the top back down, you'd open up the little door and would give you your answer like an 8-ball.
Okay, that is extremely cool. Oh, I'd love to have one of those now.
And I remember when my grandmother gave it to me, I was all over Dark Shadows. Dark Shadows was one of my all-time favorite shows.
Barnabas.
And so grandma said, ask it a question. I said, okay, Genie bottle, when do vampires come out? And I opened it and I closed and I opened up the door and it said, when the moon is full.
Oh, wow.
I know, right?
That is seriously eerie.
This is real.
Oh, that is so cool.
I actually looked online to buy one of those recently to see if it exists. I couldn't find one.
That's why. Well, maybe because of whatever it was that, controlled the smoke and all that. Maybe
I also think the smoke was toxic. I just remember getting like really sick from that smoke.
Oh, that is such a cool toy. I love it. Well, anyway, we better wrap it up on that, but that is
all right.
Now I'll be searching for that. Well, let's do all those listeners out there, there's thousands of listeners. If you would, come back and listen to Bob and I. The next one we're going to do is Star Trek. So we will be back with Star Trek. So look for that as our next podcast. All right.
There we go.
See you, Bob.
Bye, dude.
Talk to you. Check out our next podcast coming up, Star Trek, where Bob and I take a look at little known facts and little known behind the scenes moments that you will love. We had a blast doing that one. Thank you very much.